our sales expert for the evening. He is the Director of Business Development with Blue Mobile. He's actually an entrepreneur. He co-founded 3D Wireless Games, which was later sold to Superskate Group. He worked in sales at Bank of America, Penske Logistics, and the Discovery Channel. And he, in addition to his position at Blue Mobile, he's also the Director and Adjunct Professor at DePaul University's Sales Leadership Center. So, here's Clancy.
My co-presenters. So, since they are finance, right, I'm going to give each one of them a present that they're going to have on their seat when they come out. Because there's such a stigma about sales, and Jonathan said it first thing that came out of his mouth is, yeah, sales and marketing's all the same thing. I nearly had a heart attack and almost left. But the reality is, I'm not going to sit down and stand up because I have 5 to 10 minutes to talk about my part, is how many of you in here get your e-bites to parties, whether it was over the holiday season, or it's over St. Patrick's Day. A couple years out of college, you show up with something, right? Your parents taught you well. First you showed up a couple years out of college with a case of beer, right? You grew up and got a little older, a little wiser, I say, and started bringing wine. But is this scenario paint a picture for you? Where you go into Jules Asco's, as we say here in Chicago. You grab your bottle of wine, you don't know what the hell you're bringing. You go to the party, you find the host, you say, hey, thanks for inviting me, here's your bottle of crap wine, right? And you walk off. But now think about the opportunity that we have with Vintners and the case study. The panelists and I were arguing back and forth about the different logistics of the case. But think about the opportunity you have to make your own wine. To actually have a story, become an evangelist, where you can talk about how you made the wine, how you chose to come up with the name, how you chose to come up with the flavoring for it, instead of giving them that crap bottle of wine. Okay? So I want you to remember 2 things, and I have a prize for you. This is not the prize, okay? I have a different prize for you. But I want you to remember 2 things for talking from the sales perspective, because that's what I'm tasked with. I'm tasked with, from the sales side, figuring out how we expand. 2 things. First thing is we want to grow the event side of it. So I did some research on my panelists, and Dwayne is a finance guy, wrote an article, Mergers and Acquisitions, in September. One of the things he said is, alignment with the stakeholders, because there's so much misalignment. They don't know what they want to do. They want to do three things. They want to grow, right? They want to plateau, or they want to sell. I'm going to stick with grow, okay? So James says don't agree with each other, but what I did is I cheated. I found out what these guys all specialize in, and I'm going to go with their ideas, okay? So we want to grow the event side of things, all right? The way that we do that from the sales side of things is the markets we're going to go after, the target markets from a sales perspective we're going to go after. Again, ignoring James. Sorry, James. I know you worked really hard. But I'm going to take this. Yeah, that's true. I'm going to take this into consideration that we are in a down economy because sales is reality. If I can't sell anyone anything, why am I going after that market, right? So the 2 markets I'm going to go after, because it's a low-hanging fruit for me, is the not-for-profits. You go on to chicagonotforprofit.org. Every day, every other day, there's an event going on. They have to do fundraisers, okay? The second thing, and we're talking about the events at Vintners, the second thing that we're going to do is we're going to go after associations. James came up with this idea with his team to do something unique. Because how many associations have you gone to where you see a guest speaker, and they talk for 30, 45 minutes, a couple people ask questions, you go home and you got nothing out of it? Anyone? And I've been guilty of giving those presentations too, so my fault, okay? So that's the target market. And then the third, but not least, the target market we go after is corporations, right? A little bit tougher sell because they're cutting back. What I need to grow the revenue side, right, for the events, I need technology. Very simplistic though. When I'm selling, I don't need a ton of technology. I don't need Salesforce.com, a really complicated technology product. There's a product that ties into Outlook called Avidian, $150 per sales rep. Very inexpensive. That's my CRM, customer relationship management software I'm going to use. And then I'm going to do voice over IP. I don't need landlines. Right? I don't have one in my house. I don't need one in my office. So I'm going to get somebody to express about a quarter of the cost of the landlines. That's all I need for the salespeople. Anybody in sales here? Anybody? Okay. That's all we need is our phone, right? We make phone calls, we set the meetings, we go up there. Right? That's what we need from the sales side of it. The technology, we need to be able to go after target markets. And last but not least, here's the numbers I came up with. Us salespeople, we do not like numbers, right? Give us our quota, we'll hit those numbers. Other than that, we don't want to mess around. But we have the guy that's going to sit here, Dwayne, right? He's the finance guy. I'm scared shitless of them, right? This is Second City, so they swear. So I came up with numbers, and here's what I did. If I average that my salespeople, let's just say one person to expand this operation, makes 50 calls a day, right? You can do the numbers there. If they can close 16 deals, and I sat down, anybody have heard of a company called Grubhub in Chicago? Okay, so the VP of sales, I sat with my boss's ideas to see if I'm way off or in line. They're expanding too. So I bounced the numbers. I said, hey, if they close 16 deals a month, 12 months, right? It's 192 deals. The cost is where we're going to change things. Because in the case study that we read, the panelists and I were given, they're saying $300 to $400. No, we're charging a premium. We're charging $600. Because at the event, one of the things is that they can host 15 individuals. Okay? So when you throw an event, you have 15 individuals you can bring to it. So 15 individuals times $40 is where we get to $600. $40, that's not a lot of money. That's how my mom called, right? $40 per person, that's what you pay to come to a value-add event like tonight. And kudos again to your team for putting this together, because it's unique. But not only that, okay, if you can't sport the $40, you're getting 2 bottles of booze, right? 2 bottles of wine by the time you get done with this event. Can you tell that I drank the Kool-Aid from Vintners? Okay, so let me just do a little bit more math so that I satisfy my counterpart, Dwayne, all right? So at $300, I figured the cost of goods sold is $300 on this sales side. So half of the $600. And if you times that 300 by 192 deals that we have to close, each individual rep, you come up with about $57,000. Now, from a sales perspective, I'm not a 100% selling person because they will have no incentive to call in the associations, call in the nonprofits, call in the corporations to bring them onto the events. They won't do it, right? But what I do is 60% of that $57,000, just over 30 grand, is going to be their base salary. I'll tell you why it's not as high as you might think. The other 40% is what they're going to get bonuses on, right? That's where their commission's going to come from. It comes to about $120 per deal that they close. And we have kickers. If they sell below it, they don't get $120. If they sell above it, sell above the 16 per month they get, right? So 60-40 on the revenue side. Now the last but not least is this is an inside sales position. They can crank out, if they have to go meet with people, they can do that. They crank out 50 calls a day. They can very easily close 16 deals a month. That's not a problem from the sales side. Okay? So that's the first point. Kind of long-winded on that, but is to grow, like Twain had talked about in his article, the event side of the business. Now the second point that I'm going to talk about is inform and educate. We want the sales reps that are coming from Vintners, and this is where I'm going to need some help from Jonathan from the marketing side. First half with Dwayne's side and the number side, but Jonathan to come up with what our value add is going to be. I think I know what it's going to be, and I'll throw it out there. I think via informing and educating, and surprising when we talk to people, is that through a series of questions, we're going to cover that they have needs, right? That's what salespeople should be doing. And then we're going to show them what the real value add of doing an event like Vintners. I got a little bit scared when Sarah was talking about they kind of do the same thing here, but we have booze, okay, at Vintners. So we're going to inform and educate through a very series of questions where we can show what the true value add is, all right? So the two things, very simply. And I firmly believe, because I think my time's getting wound down here, that if we execute on that, if we want the events to grow, and we execute on informing and educating our clients, that we will not only open, like Jim's saying, 10 stores, but very easily 15 to 20 stores in the next couple of years, okay? So, just to see who was paying attention, does anyone know what my 2 points are, or are you all sleeping? Because I got a nice bottle of booze for you. Yes? Yes?
Grow.
Yes?
Number 1.
Yes?
Number 2, inform and educate.
All right, you guys are on the line after. That's the other thing we know how to do is brag people. Okay, so that's my time, and I'm going to stay up. Thank you.